In today's relationship reboot, we are tackling a topic it can be difficult to talk about.
No matter how you were raised or who your partner is, talking about sex can be uncomfortable. Some people were raised to talk openly. For others who might have been raised in a Catholic family, there was no talk about any sort of this stuff. So joining us now, Carol Bruess is here with some of the research and some of the information on this.
Absolutely, and no self-disclosure today.
Good.
One of our relationship rules.
I love
this is a challenge for a lot of people to talk about. We even had a discussion like, do we want to talk about this on the show or not? But it's important.
It's absolutely important because it is difficult for so many couples. Most people grow up in families where talking about sex is taboo. Even today, fewer than 12% of parents are having open, ongoing dialogue about sex with their kids. So a lot of us grow up, we're in relationships, and you know, we're still feeling uncomfortable about it. So it can be really hard.
But you say when you boil it down, there are 3 common roadblocks that really lead to that breakdown in communication.
Right. You know, and one of them is having this negative or shameful feeling about sex. And a lot of times that comes from what you learned growing up. If something's taboo, you know, and you're told don't talk about it, then you can develop these embarrassed feelings to express your needs and your wants, even though we all know sex is natural. It's something that everybody needs and most everybody wants.
Another roadblock is just the way we talk about it, right? Right.
It's sort of trying to figure out, do I use formal terms? Do I use the slang terms? You know, people can be really uncomfortable about, okay, how do I talk about this? You know, one of the things you want to make sure you never do is, you know, if your partner uses a silly term, you know, go with it. It might be his or her way of talking about something that's uncomfortable.
And the last roadblock you say, and this one I think could be really understandable, fear of hurting a partner's feelings.
Right. I mean, no one wants their partner to feel inadequate, especially in this category. And so, you know, one of the things we learned from the research is that over 25% of men and 50% of women admit to lying about satisfaction with sex in their relationships, you know, because we don't want to hurt a partner's feeling about something that's so intimate. So
what do we do about it? How do we have better communication about this topic?
Well, you know, one of the simple tips is to have the conversation out of the moment, you know, have it out of the bedroom. So start the conversation when you're not, you know, emotional or feeling really vulnerable. And a lot of couples don't realize that, you know.
It feels like the right time to talk about it is while you're about to do it, and it's not.
Right. Well, and for some couples it can be, but if you've never talked about it, it can be one of those things where you start it outside of the, you know, the context.
Okay, so this, I think, it's a good tip, but it could also be a little uncomfortable to share it first. You say that you need to kind of outline what you need in the conversation to feel safe.
Yeah, so saying to your partner, you know, this could be a little uncomfortable, and here's how I need to feel safe in this conversation, which is a great tip for any kind of difficult conversation. So something, for instance, like, you know, let's say no laughing or giggling, or how about we develop a rule, I say something that I really like, and then you say something you really like, and then we both say something we might prefer. You know, so you create this rule structure which opens the door to having a more difficult conversation.
And that idea of starting the conversation with what you do like can be challenging because people like different things. I mean, all of these tips are great, but the reality is some of these things, there's not always a compromise or not always a way to work through it.
And so it's important to talk about it. You know, and if you're going to have the conversation, always start with a positive. You know, so if it is, you want to bring this up because, you know, something is bothering you, always start with an affirmation. You know, that helps everybody feel better.
And you say that the research shows that once you can open up these guidelines to communication, it actually improves your relationship overall,
too. It does. So having healthy sexual communication improves your relationships.
Okay, it's important.
It's important. And, you know, we were thinking that today it would be appropriate to dedicate this segment to everybody in Climax, Minnesota.
Oh.
A little town near Grand Forks.
It's a great community, great Minnesota
Isn't it great?
community.
And they've got T-shirts that say Climax, more than a feeling. That might help open up some lines of communication.
A little humor to help you get through it.
Humor is good.
Thank you.